Hello there, fellow rescue operators. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to The Crust, Episode 3, Preparing to Rescue the Survivors of Hope. So the next project is the components factory. Components are really important. Components are sort of what everything is made out of. You start off with a bunch of components that you arrived with, but if you don't start producing your own components, you end up in a situation where, you will be component starved. So in this case, what I might want to do is increase my mining drones again and create a little pocket here. There is an iron vein here that I can use to feed the components factory so that we are getting steel separate from components. That way I have a supply of steel. Because otherwise we end up completely depleting our steel and then not having steel for basic projects as well. And these batteries are needing silicon, I think? Yeah. So I'll plug this in and try to find some silicon as well, because we are a bit silicon deprived, and I have no doubt it's somewhere in the surrounding areas. I just don't know exactly where. Well, not that direction. That was a lot of power used. Ooh, more titanium, more iron. Yeesh.
Research complete.
That's probably all the scanning I'm gonna do for now. Okay, so we got the utility pole upgrade, which allows us to connect up to 5 rather than 4. And I think I wouldn't mind going for fuel, but, ooh. Let's see. I want to look at all... Oh, smelting furnace upgrade. That requires some fundamental. Not a lot of fundamental, but it requires a little bit, which will be nice. And then we'll also get the trading license extensions as well. Silicon seems scarce? No, I just haven't found it. It's not scarce. Oh, we're already at nighttime again. I've only saved up almost 900,000 power. It's not terrible. Might last us. But those scans coming up dry were a bit unfortunate. So the night is 14 days, so as long as I have about 13 days of power left. 12, 13. So you kind of want 14 days of battery power, ideally. Which means in my case, I'm going to turn off, because we have a lot of smart concrete built up, I'm going to just turn off the pressing modules to stretch the power up to above 14 days. So we've excavated the iron. Knowing that there's titanium here, what I might want to end up doing is having the component factory feed off of the iron and titanium that are adjacent to one another, leaving this titanium to be supplying a rolling mill and rods itself, rather than doing components up there. I think that's making better use of the terrain. So that's the plan. Is to get access to this titanium and that iron and turn that into a components manufactory, and then rolling mill up here. If we're doing that, I can start setting up the extractors for this, but I'm obviously not going to keep them powered on. But I might want to wait for a little bit more space for the extraction, so that things aren't on top of one another. And I do have 5 out of 5 mining bots. So we've got all bots mining.
Research complete.
Okay, we have the single regolith refinery upgrade. This allows you to refine regolith faster. So if your regolith refinery is your bottleneck, that can be fixed. And we are researching the smelting upgrade as well. And I also want to research the extractor upgrade. In fact, the extractor upgrade might be, because we already have the rolling mill and components factory, it might be the one I do next. Because ultimately, you're bottlenecked at how fast you can extract out of the ground, so I'm going to put that as the highest priority for research. And if you wanted to upgrade, the way it would be is you go to the regolith refinery, and it's this tab here, which costs big bucks. It costs a lot of money, but it will speed up the production cycle. So if your bottleneck is your regolith refinery, you can upgrade there. If your bottleneck is the extractor, you can upgrade once you have that, or smelting furnace. All three have potential upgrade paths. So there's the titanium and the iron extractor. And that will feed to 2 regolith refineries. How is this one powered on? It shouldn't be. And then eventually we're going to have to do something about the slag. So that might be one of my next research projects. And just making sure this stuff turns off, because we don't really have the power for it. So, this regolith is sitting on top of iron. And this one of titanium. And then feeding to a smelter. And this one will be for titanium. And this one will be for iron or steel. And let's prioritize the mining right here so that we have a little bit more space for the infrastructure. Now, it might actually, before I build these, it might be wise to put storages in between. Because storages can help act as buffers to deal with, you know, any shortages or whatever. So this is... Oh, you know what? That's the wrong kind of storage. Oops. All good storage. Because it's not a produced good, it's a bulk good. Alright, so coming out of this will be titanium oxide. And coming out of this will be iron oxide. And this also has an added bonus of if there's any titanium oxide or iron oxide that's like spilled out on the ground, which as you can see there is some, it can be scooped up and put into those bulk good storages. I am, however, out of components, which is a little awkward because it's like chicken and the egg. The components factory does not require in itself components, so what I might need to do is some sort of like weird jank to get this up and running. I think... Ooh, that's a good question. Or alternatively, I do have some credits, and I can just buy some components. Maybe I'll go that route. So market, buy... Let's say 15 components. And what ends up happening is it gets flown here, and then I'll be able to drop the cargo pod. Alright, we're back to daytime. So, let's power these things on. Off of this will be titanium. Off of this will be steel. And then likewise, another single research storage. One for each. I'll spread them out. I don't need to spread them out. And then this will store iron, or steel rather, and this will store titanium. And then last but not least, the components factory, which will be the final piece of the pie. Okay, cargo pod is ready, so we'll drop it right near the elevator. And then I researched something, so I'm wasting science points. I am wasting fundamental science points. Okay, so let's find something fundamental that I want. Smart concrete factory would be nice to do. That way we can do something with the slag. And here's our components. That will help us buying components to make components. And I think I'll put the components factory facing the core of the base. Like that. And at the end of that, another single resource storage so that the components can pile up in a box. So this box will be for components. Did I set the other boxes? Yeah, I've already set the other boxes. Perfect. And once this is built, we'll have a components factory. And then after we get the components factory, I'll work on the rolling mill. And we have a lot of titanium built up here for the rolling mill, which is great. So the rolling mill does not cost components, which is great. So here's what I want to do. I want to stick a rolling mill, let's say here. But if I wanted to prevent all of my titanium from going there, I'm going to do this a jank way. Because if it's jank and it works, it's fine. So I'm going to have half my titanium go to a box and half my titanium go to the rolling mill. And if I ever need to, I can route the titanium that's going to the rolling mill to the box. There's another way to do this, which is to split the... Actually, I should do it like this. To split the belt like this, and I'll show you why in just a moment. So if we split the belt... like this, we can lock one side or the other. deciding where the conveyors go. So I have a feedback loop where if I only want to store titanium, I can, or if I only want to make it into the rolling mill, I can. This gives me a little bit of control in that. These belt splitters, or whatever you want to call them. And then after rolling the titanium into plates, we're going to want to store that too. And yes, I know it is spaghetti. I already covered this at the start. I don't give a crap about spaghetti. It doesn't bother me. As long as it's sort of logically laid out. It's all good. Alright, my miners need mining tasks. Let's see. I am going to have them mine a path up here where I'll drop an ore scanner. And then mine a path over here where I'll drop another ore scanner. Basically trying to put myself in the middle of regolith and then scan efficiently. So interestingly, the components factory is lacking titanium plates to be able to build. So I'm going to prioritize the titanium plate factory so that we can get the components factory built. I'm also fully powered, so let's actually use some of the electricity I have. Although, you know what? It's about to be nighttime again, so maybe not. I kind of missed that window. Alright, so the rolling mill's up. And if I not block the resources for the rolling mill, we'll start milling titanium plates, which then can be used to finish the components factory. I don't really need more power storage. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I have enough power to last the entire night with everything turned on. But eventually adding more batteries is a wise idea, yeah.
Director, we have a message on the emergency channel. I'll put it on the screen.
Attention. This is Arthur Moore, commander of the Hope 2 orbital station. The station has sustained severe damage from multiple collisions. We have lost key control modules. A hard moon landing will occur in the coming weeks. Request assistance from anyone who hears this message. All crew members are ordered to take shelter in Block 4. I repeat.
The debris from the meteorite impact must have gotten Hope 2. I'm already contacting Crust to report it.
Research complete.
Yep, this was set to the wrong storage. My bad. It's fixed. Okay, we researched the extractor upgrade. So once I have more money, we can start to use that. Next is the smelting upgrade. And the debris from the meteorite impact must have gotten the station in orbit. So, Crust is aware of the situation with the Hope 2 and is already working on an evacuation plan. We will need to assist... We will need assistance in the search and rescue operation, including ensuring accommodations for the rescued crew. Your base is perfectly suited for this. We are ready to provide the necessary support and equipment to accomplish this task.
With all due respect, Director, I do not share your doubts. People are in danger, and if it's in our power to help them, we must do so.
With all due respect, Alice, altruism has clouded your judgment. Crust is clearly asking for grant aid that we cannot afford right now. I suggest we focus on restoring production and resuming shipments to Earth, where resources are urgently needed right now. Also, I've negotiated a prepayment with FASM. We can use their funds if we start reestablishing the contract system now.
All you care about is profit. If that's the case, think of the technology Crust will provide. It's worth as much as our base in its current state.
Do we pay a fair price for their technology? Don't forget, Director, by accepting Crust's offer, we will allow them to decide how our base is developed. We'll have have to focus on the construction of the living quarters and postpone the expansion of high-tech manufacturing and investigation of the meteorite case.
Crust is going to accommodate the surviving Hope 2 crew members at your base in exchange for equipment and technologies for us to carry out a rescue mission. If you accept Crust's offer, you will lose access to the FASM contract, for which the corporation is willing to pay upfront.
Okay, you guys can decide this. So what do we do? Just to reiterate, there's a station in orbit, and of course, people on the planet that need rescuing. And we can either rescue them and allow them to live on our lunar base, or we can restore supply deliveries to Earth. What is our priority? Rescuing people or making money, essentially? Pretty overwhelmingly, you guys want me to rescue people? Alright, I think I left that up long enough. It's kind of a runaway poll. Got it. I'll accommodate the station crew at my base. Now, there is rewards here. So, station crews give research. Rescues give credits and access to the contract system.
Good choice. You need to establish contact with the station, assist the commander with the evacuation, and then transport the team to your base. You should have living quarters suitable for sustaining life by then. Begin preparations for the construction of the living quarters immediately. It is a complex and resource-intensive structure, so maximize and optimize production so you're ready when survivors arrive. In summary, your main tasks are: contact the station and ensure the transport of the crew to your base. Construct a residential facility with life support systems. We will send a research plan and transportation for search and rescue operations shortly.
We've barely recovered from the explosion. Now our base is just a couple of mining and processing modules. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to save the crew, but it'll be almost impossible in such a short amount of time.
I can do it.
We definitely can't do it alone. I will send a request to colleagues and inform you when new information becomes available.
Indeed, the timing's not ideal. However, we still have the ability to break down the task and move towards our goal with small steps.
Director, we managed to dispatch the research rover scout. It's essential for your next mission. Examine the satellite repeater and make contact with the Hope 2 crew. Mr. Ratchet will help you sort out the controls. You're free to use data that will help with the mission. Some of it will expedite the research. Professor Wilfrey knows what to do with it. However, remember that all ship logs, crew records, and other materials related to the incident are the property of Crust. Your company has no authority to examine this information.
Ratchet, have you heard the news? Crust put you in charge of the new toy. We don't have much time to contact the crew, so helping the director get the rover to the repeater is your top priority.
Not only did we lose almost all of our equipment, but we also turned out to be the last hope for Crust and the Hope Station. Anyway, Director, we're in a hurry. Land the cargo pod with the rover and we'll proceed.
So here's the rover.
Horizon 6. Almost everything has been modified. Only the hull is original. There's serious hardware there. Even Crust doesn't have much like it. Send it off base and see what we can find with it.
Okay, raffle timer's up because I'm going to be naming the rover after one of you guys. And we are going to send the rover out onto the surface of the moon, out of our base. So you can just hit the leave the base button. That does it. There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but that's one of the easy ones. And good luck on the raffle. I'm naming the rover because you end up with multiple rovers, and it's helpful to name them so you know which ones you're referencing. Because if they're all just named rover, well, you're going to get confused quick. So we have some titanium plates piling up. We got some components piling up. Granted, it's slow. And pretty soon, we're going to be sending the rover out to examine a repeater. That is the current priority that Crust handed down to us.
Objective achieved.
All right, examine the repeater. I have 18 days to do this. So, the rover is solar powered.
This is First Vice President Alice Vance speaking. We have received equipment and coordinates and are beginning a rescue operation as per Crust directive. Our mission, to safely evacuate the crew of Hope 2 and get them back to base in one piece. By this time, habitable living quarters must be completed. Director, you need to send a rover to the repeater and contact the station crew. Professor Wilfrey, please request Crust life support technology. Ratchet, we're going to need a cargo truck for crew transport. Take care of it for us. Personnel on Earth to proceed under new directives issued by your immediate supervisor. Over and out.
So basically, there's a bunch of things we need to do. We need to prepare a living quarters for the rescued people. We need a cargo truck to be able to transport them from their crash sites. And we need contact with the repeater to basically be able to find them in the first place. So, in order to go to the repeater, there's a few different ways to do this, but if you click the repeater, you can set an expedition. So we're headed to the repeater with the rover scout, and we're going to go investigate. The rover scout has a battery level, as you can see, and it recharges during the day and discharges at night. When it runs out of power, it will just get powered on next time it's morning. It's not a big deal. All right, the other things that we're going to need.
We can't rely solely on Crust to deliver all the equipment. We need to prepare ourselves. We need a cargo truck to deliver the crew, and we need it now. Ratchet, any ideas?
We can try to fix this piece of scrap metal. It's a Pathfinder 3B, an outdated model, but it has increased maneuverability and payload capacity. Just what we need.
All right, repairing the cargo truck requires 18 components and 45 silicon. So those are our two priorities. And I just so happen to have bought a bunch of components, so it should be pretty easy to repair this because we already have a bit of a surplus of components. Now, in terms of silicon, we have plenty as well. We have 85 at the moment out of the 45 that we need, so repairing the cargo truck is really no big deal. And as you can see, the bot's already hauling stuff to it. And then the rover is making its way to the repeater, so all's well. The other thing that I was going to say is we should start to research the necessary things in order to aid the crew. So high voltage systems, the game will get into this, but I'm going to get a jump on it. I'm going to cancel a whole bunch of the things that I had queued up. And I'm going to research high voltage power systems, which allows you to build a refrigerator and electronics board, which powers up a crew quarter. And then I'll also get an ice melter, which allows you to then eventually research the oxygen facilities to oxygenate and offer water. And then eventually we'll get the farming and cooking technologies once we get both those things, allowing us to have a kitchen, a hydroponic farm, and a dining table. So them's be the priorities. We've got the ice melter and high voltage power systems at the top of the queue. All right, rover is named Major Bildu.
Director, it looks like the rover's run out of power. Now, it couldn't beat a turtle in a race, and until the sun is up again, there's nothing we can do about it. The rover is solar powered, and as soon as the sun goes down, it starts using energy from its batteries. Keep this in mind when planning long-distance expeditions.
Alright, so the rover is stationary here, the batteries is discharged, and it's going to be idle until sunup. No problem. Alright, all my mining drones are going to be set up as haulers, because we have a lot of regolith ready to be pressed into smart concrete. And then I'll put some ore detectors at the end of those tunnels, trying to pick up on, like, oh, you know what? I want a little bit more space here. Trying to pick up on where some nice silicon or aluminum or something is, because I don't know where it is just yet. Alright, let's see.
Research complete.
Research for ice melting is done. So we get ice melter and a water tank. The next research is going to be oxygen facilities, and we'll raise that up. The truck here is almost done. It's missing 2 components, which are probably getting delivered now. And I just want enough space to drop an ore detector in here. Yeah, Major Mildew ends up winning, like, all the polls. He must, bribe Nightbot. Like, big time. That'd be my guess. You know, because it's obviously
The
rigged.
engine is running. This old-timer may not look like much, but the cargo truck has passed all tests and is ready for operation.
Okay, so we have a truck, and, well, that's another giveaway. So, raffle timer's up again for the cargo truck. So, the difference. The cargo truck moves people and stuff. It's also fuel-powered and battery-powered. The fuel helps to make it faster. Whereas the rover is like an exploration vehicle. They serve very different purposes and don't do what the other one does. Which is the simplest way of saying you need both.
Research complete.
Alright, research into high voltage power systems. Perfect. After that, we're going to get the farming and cooking technologies and raise that up against the oxygen facilities.
Director, we'll send a cargo truck as soon as we receive the crew's coordinates. You don't have to worry about the delivery.
Okay. And there's really nothing for the cargo truck to do at the moment. There's no cargo for me to interact with on the moon or move around in the base. So it's idle, and that's fine. Oh boy. 3 days? I should be okay. It's gotten a little close, but I should... We'll see. Okay, the rover is almost at the repeater. Now that it has some solar power, as you can see, it's charging back up. And it is surveying.
Director, we've established communication with the station.
We didn't expect anyone to respond. The situation is critical. The station has suffered a lot of damage. The navigation system is down. Power and life support systems are failing. There are some wounded, but so far everyone's alive. Now that we have a signal from the surface, I'll try to keep the crew reassured. We'll activate the emergency beacon so you can pick us up after landing. What do you mean you're not ready to rescue us? Listen to me. You must make it happen. People's lives depend on your work. Our orbit is decaying. We can't change course. I'll reroute energy from Block 6 and 2 and try to delay the lunar landing as much as possible. Our lives are in your hands, Director. Hurry up.
Director, we urgently need to build living quarters and get them out there. Professor, have we received the necessary technologies?
Crust has handed over the research plan. They agreed to help, but the main burden will fall on our shoulders.
Living quarters will require a lot of space. Director, make sure the drones mine enough area for construction.
Objective achieved.
Okay. At this point, the rover can do other...
Okay, we're ready. Director, use the room planner tool and lay down a room of the required size.
do other surveys of unknown outposts, private lab, observatory, demolished structure, unknown find. And we'll figure out what those are. Alright, I am wasting points in fundamental research, so... let's queue up something... Excavation speed. That'll work. Alright, switch to the room building mode and prepare and plan for a future room. Don't forget to install doors before completing the design.
And yes, Director, several technical modules will be needed for the colonists' living conditions. Try to separate the sleeping quarters and production areas in advance. After all, we want the staff to come to work well rested, right?
Okay, so we want to separate sleeping quarters and production. Got it. So what I'm doing here is, we know humans need water, yeah. So let's excavate an area near the water where we can support life, people, survivors.
Director, Crust has sent us an additional set of drones, which will allow us to expand production even further. Treat them with caution. They are an extremely rare and valuable resource.
All right, new drones, sweet. And the cargo truck is now Jonah the Nomad.
Это точно. Все, что стихия, понимаешь?
All right, I am going to expand battery storage again,
Да просто это ощутить.
because we barely had enough power making it through last night. And without an expanded power storage, things aren't going to look too bright. Pun completely intended. So let's get that expanded. I don't know if the crew has a fixed date or not. I know the game, but not that well. Oops. Alright, so big old battery bank. Done. I'm not going to bother doing any of the Earth scanning at the moment. I have, like, more important and more pressing things to do. So, the current priority right now is to build living quarters. Thank you for tuning in to The Crust, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow space miners.